Ruthie. You're Ruthie Tucker.
And if you came to see me, since I'm an old football coach, we'd be in Death Valley, South Carolina, the home of the defending national champs, Clemson Tigers.
Oh my gosh. Mixed marriage.
There you go.
How do these marriages work? Yeah.
My name is Patrice Boardman, and I'm from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and if you came to see me, we'd go to the ocean.
Yay.
My name is Steve, and if you came to Brookings, South Dakota, I would take you fishing.
So, I'm going to jump right in, because if you look to the left of the coach, and then, as we turn all the way around, it'll be on the right of the coach. But there's just this big swath of green out there, and interestingly, that's part of both Rapid City's past and its present. And one of the things that was devastating for Rapid City, and that's wonderful for Rapid City, that's my lead-in, the green area runs right along Rapid Creek. He was considered one of the finest writers among the founding fathers. He's the one that penned that declaration that these guys all signed their names to. And Rapid Creek came first, and then it is very rapid right now. And Rapid City came second. Rapid City is named after the creek. But in 1972, they had what you hate in the mountains. We call it a slow-moving storm. There was a storm that came, it sat there, and it just dumped.
Brings it all together. So he's got a lot to share with you, so I'm not going to talk anymore.
Well, you should hold your applause to the end. Well, welcome to the Black Hills, everyone. My name is Foster Sawyer. I'm a professor here at Custer School of Mines, and I've been here now for about 34 years.
I know that this sounds perhaps intimidating, but it's what I'm getting. I think those Indian tacos are amazing. That fry bread on the bottom is delicious. All the stuff they pile on is reasonably healthy. Tetons are right up here. And as we keep going north, oh, there's a little guy out gamboling around. Oh, you guys are lucky, because sometimes, oh, he's here. Oh, there's another one there. Oh, let me see. Oh, this is really good for bear. Oh. Seriously, you can only look at giant heads carved into the side of a mountain for so long. One star. I don't even know who these old people are. Why does the viewing area not include a gorgeous beer garden? That's a good point. In the in his papers, they found this handwritten recipe, and I think they called it a frozen custard of some sort. I mean, it didn't have a name. And so with the recipe and with that letter, it makes people think that it was one of the earliest ones. He did not have an ice cream maker, but he had a big staff. And the logistics. When we get in, we're going to be met by a guide from Crazy Horse, but who will wait for us while we use the restroom. There's a restroom right inside the front door. It's much larger. It's right inside the front door to the left. So we'll do that first. And then our guide will just take us through in about 15 minutes.
So just ask us and we're happy to help you. So we're going to get you on eating because we've got kind of a short schedule to do that. But if you need to use restrooms, all the way back go to the left all the way back. Don't go right. Beautiful green out today. So anyway, 7 sister mountain ranges named after the 7 different Indian tribes that lived in this area. So we had, what do we have? Ogallala, we have the Lakota, we have the Sioux, the Cheyenne, among some of those. Some of those tribes were friendly, some were not so friendly, but they all lived together in this area because of our water. So we've got natural spring waters that come out of the ground at about 87 degrees.
About 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, creating a perfect trap for the mammoths. Because the water was so warm, there would have been nice green grass growing around the outside edge of the sinkhole, so a young man some of them. There's
to Plains Indian culture in a time long past. The great wild America that once was and still is, here at Custer State Park. This 71,000 acres.
It's been the superintendent's home, and it was the visitor center at one time as well. It's got that charming sort of rustic, classic rustic, hand-built style, but beautiful, that characterizes the parks.
Yours to explore, and it starts here. At Custer State Park, you choose your own path through an incredible American landscape.
Soil scientists and geologists believe that the Dust Bowl was created in part by the drought conditions, but also because of the way we've been using the land. And I'm not criticizing that, I'm just pointing it out as a fact. If you're not from the prairie, you don't know the wind. You can't know the wind. Our cold winds of winter cut right to the core. Hot summer wind devils can blow down the door. As children, we know when we play any game, the wind will be there, yet we play just the same. If you're not from the prairie, you don't know the wind. So again, Laura Ingalls Wilder is the person that sparks our imagination when we think about moving west from the east and settling in the Great Plains. But in the face of weather that doesn't cooperate, in the face of drought, it's much more difficult to be successful. And technology, a technology which allowed missiles to be launched and to reach the other country within minutes.
When I was in the Air Force, I was stationed in McGuire at a Beaumont missile site. It was I don't know what they call it. I guess they call it. I was a missile man.
There were 1,000 missiles in the Great Plains. This is a more accurate map of what is right here in South Dakota.
So you're not going to be stepping anywhere where you can't see your feet or your ankles, and therefore you will not encounter a rattlesnake.
All right, if you wave, you get more video time.
One, we're going to be walking out on this boardwalk, see, right here, and, you know, have been coming through here for thousands and thousands of years. Out here you might see a coyote, you might see a prairie falcon, you might see bighorn sheep, you might see prairie dogs, you might see pronghorn.
Getting better, getting better. Got 80% waving so far, 80%. There you go.
City block. On the right side, you can see Wall Dragon Cafe, and that's where it all began. But what it's spread to now, I mean, you can see this. There's outpost, camping supplies, Western wear. Glad you made it. On the left side, there's a saloon, a cafe, a lounge, mercantile. What does it say? Sorry.
A chapel.
Oh, there is a chapel. I actually go in there sometimes because sometimes you just need to take a break. It's really quite, see this totem pole here on the right?
Hear your fortune from Zoltar. Ah, yes, it looks like today must be your lucky day, for I see...
So all the quality is in place. So they went out today to jump in the car to go pick them up, and the car wasn't there. And the car that Teresa drives is a beautiful car. It's a Mercedes SUV, and it's worth stealing. I have so much empathy for Calamity Jane, but I think she was a calamity. Wild Bill was no fan of Calamity Jane, but his guys kind of, they decided to like her. There's the hole right there. We have a winner, Judy. So Judy, I'm gonna come by with it's really mostly it's pins and magnets. But eventually he met Butch Cassidy, joined up with him. As the Outlaws go, they really were some of the nicest ones. They only killed you if they absolutely had to. Here's the rules of the road. These are real. There's 9 of them. Number 1, abstinence from liquor is requested. But if you must drink, share the bottle. To do so otherwise makes you appear selfish and unneighborly.
Pinkerton files show Sundance and Avril sailing back to the United.
And people commented on the fact that Ethel was as good a rider as Butch and Sundance were.
Pinkerton Asian.
Somewhere soon that people have been happy with at also.
Okay, is it working yet? Can you hear me? Great. Well, as she said, my name is Mike, and I am happy to be with you here today. I'm going to be with you all day and get off at West Yellowstone, and we are going to see some really cool stuff. This is some of my favorite country anywhere, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. The first thing is, just on the other side of that mountain is a place called the Heart Mountain Relocation Center. Relocation Center is kind of a euphemism for concentration camp. Right here we also just transitioned from sedimentary rock to granite. This whole uplift to push up this ridge was ancient granite. That's what these tunnels are carved into. That's also what the dam is tied into. A very narrow canyon with good solid granite rock. Just a great place to build a dam if you're going to build one. We pull in, we park, and he's talking. I'm not sure he's going to get out of the car, and he finally does. So we walk back there. You know, same place we walked. You go there and you get to the steps, you make a left. And did you notice everybody standing there is looking the same way? They're all looking at the falls. So we get there and everybody's looking the same direction, and he's still talking, and he just goes on. And he has not seen the falls. And finally it occurs to him that everybody's looking the same direction. So he turns and he looks, and there's the falls, and he says, "Well, would you look at that?" And I thought, well, that's what everybody's been doing. It's like, yeah.
Starting with Niagara Falls, there was sort of a horror about what Niagara Falls had become in 1870. And right around this same time, the Yosemite Valley had been discovered, also thanks to John Muir and others. it was also full of entrepreneurs. There was a guy, there were sawmills all over the Yosemite Valley. I mean, you don't have to cut down that many trees, you know, to get a lot of board feet out of those huge sequoias. And then also people exploiting or selling or making available to tourists the beauty. There was a guy who built a hotel and a bar not too far from Yosemite Falls who clear cut all the trees between his bar and the falls so that people could drink and look at the falls. There became a consensus that Yosemite should be preserved. So how to do that? They made it a state park. A state park was a good way to preserve Yosemite, and it stayed a state park for a long time, and it solved its problems. So then now Yellowstone comes behind these two things, and so Yellowstone is magnificent after those expeditions. Yellowstone is rumored to have these magnificent geothermal features that we don't see anywhere else. It was, scientific expeditions came out and confirmed that it was true. And so, for Yellowstone...
Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go, folks. Ignition.
We had to worry about it. They because of Yosemite's example, they wanted to make it, they wanted to preserve it. A state park was the precedent, and that's what could have happened here. That's what probably would have happened here. So for one thing, the area, and that's thanks to it being this huge caldera, this super volcano, it touched 3 states. Not touched, it was in. Significant parts of it were in 3 states. What to do? Here's where Congress, Congress can sometimes put their heads together and come up with a really good idea. They thought, let's make it a national park. So the reason they made it a national park was only because they couldn't make it a state park because there were too many states. But once they did that, the whole idea of a national park, a preservation activity that looked like this, there was just that probably unintended marketing or ownership piece that it belongs to all of us because it's a national park. love the storms. I love the fresh air. I love the companionship in the outdoors. I love the reality. I love the change. I love the rejuvenating spirit. I love to feel oneness with nature. I'm hungry. I enjoy eating. I get thirsty. I enjoy the clear water. I enjoy being warm at night when it's cold outside. All those things are extremely enjoyable because, gosh, you're living them. Your senses are really feeling. I can't explain it. I think he explained it pretty well, don't you?
Yeah.
Charming now. He would always, when he went out, he stuck a note on the front door, which of course was not locked. Gone fishing. If I don't come back, try to make a living off the place. One side of that national park was created. Center. Gill is across the street, and the History Museum here on the right, which is good. Here we are at the town square on the left. Fun. You can sit at a bar in a saddle. We were gonna
The other thing was, the black bears has smaller ears than the grizzlies.
Oh, the cubs adorable.
He looked up this way.
And the guy last night said this is the very bad thing, that the mothers are bringing their cubs to the side of the road where they should not be.
Yeah.
That they have gotten so that they're not afraid. Come right down to the road, and they should be.
That is not what this is about. This is not about hiking. This is not about breaking a sweat. This is just about flat being in a forest.
We're here because right outside of you boys, right outside of our little town of 900 people, we have a large wintering herd of Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. There's
I think she exemplifies.
About that same age. Back in those days, it wasn't uncommon to bring children.
Did not really understand.
Like this. This means I come in peace. It basically talks about the 4 trails that went from east to west. The Oregon Trail, the Mormon Trail, the California Trail, and the Pony Express. And those 4 trails came through here, went right through Casper, and we talk about those. And the best way to do this interpretive center is to start counterclockwise with the Native American.
that story, to be honest with you, is just fake news. There's so much more evidence to support the bear clawing the stone, and as you walk around it today, you'll see the claw mark. So that's my 2 cents for the thing.
Can I get a refund?
There you go. All right, here we go. I majored in physical engineering. Yeah. I love to travel and have planned all our trips. Number 3, I am younger than my wife. These are 3 bold statements. I went to school with Troy Aikman. Number 3, I've caught a 34-pound redfish. And number 3, I play the accordion.
Anybody want it? There you go. I got a few of them. There you go.
But I do want to say just one toast to all of you. We became a really tight and good community, didn't we? Over the last couple of weeks. So let's forget enough about that. You just want to know about the mileage. But the actual number was 1,533.
I could have seen so much and so many different areas of Yellowstone without doing it by bus.
And it was so funny, I can't remember now who it was in the group, but I'm standing there as we're through looking at it. We've already done the full hike and come back, and I'm looking at it thinking, oh my God, this is a bucket list. This is unbelievable. And right next to me, somebody in our group said, well, this is a bucket list item I'm checking off. And I looked at her and I said, yes! Because
children falling out of a wagon and being run over. It wasn't the Indians. I always grew up, like John Wayne. I mean, the Indians were bad people. They weren't. They were very proudful and patriotic and persevering. I mean, that's. I'd love to have that in football player.
What I didn't expect is the wonderful visitor centers. I mean, the facilities were just absolutely fantastic.
And you are an extremely positive person. You are always smiling, always helpful, always trying to make sure that everybody had everything they needed, and you have an extremely difficult job. And you have just handled it in an exceptionally talented way. Forever rays of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
There's something on the right that looks like a deer. Looks like maybe a mule deer. I'm hoping you'll edit out all my humana.
Well, those are the best parts.
For you.